साई माता पिता जिन्ना बंधु शका तेरे शरण में मेरा कोटि कोटि प्रणाम and pavitra pranams to one and all in the universe at this moment in this conversation. So last time we had the privilege of saying living through Sai. Today we go to a step further to say that living in Sai's way, human to divine. When you normally say human to divine, the first thing which comes to the mind is, as a layman, which means what? You are detached from the world, attached to something which you don't know. Now, detached to the world is impossible for a human like us, having come into the world, having created our own commitments in life, and also having created our own self-made obligations in life, being a son to a father, being a husband to the wife, being a father to the children, being X, Y, Z, whatever it is. I'm just, when you actually move living through Sai from human to divine, what I mean to say is, these are stages. The first stage is, we have come into Sai. Sai has taken us into him. It's like when a sugar is mixed with the milk, the sugar loses its identity. The milk gets one more dimension, that it is a sugared milk. Somebody went to Swami and said, Swami, aap to daya ki sagar hai. You are an ocean of love. Swami turned back and said, Bagaru, that ocean is not called an ocean unless the last drop of water like you come and merge in me. This is what ocean definition is. Till the last drop of water comes and joins me, you may call it as an ocean, but I'm not that ocean what I want to be. Now, I'll just take you to a small story. There was a tribal man who strayed away from his tribal family and moved into a city. Now, in that city, 2-3 days he wandered. He knew nothing. He only know the tribal language. I mean, the tribal culture has been hundreds of years behind the city culture. So the man was obviously scared. Like we have seen a couple of films where an alien comes and drops somewhere. Like this, a man landed somewhere. All that he knows is the tribal language. He doesn't know any other language. So he kept on wandering. At one point of time, he was so hungry. He saw somebody coming with a goat. He caught hold of the goat, killed it and ate it. The owner of the goat got angry. He's in an evolved society. He went and filed a case against him, seeking compensation from him. Obviously, this guy was arrested. Even though he cannot converse, communicate anything, he was put behind bars. So the case came for the hearing. The magistrate sat on the case and asked him, what do you want to say? Since the magistrate could not understand what he's saying, he just asked somebody, can somebody find out a lawyer who can speak his language? So he gave a 1 week time. So in the 1 week, they finally found one lawyer who can understand the language the man speaks. So the lawyer came, appeared for him, and he said, the magistrate told him, listen, ask him, has not he stolen that goat and killed it? The lawyer kept silent. The judge again said, please ask him. The lawyer kept silent. The judge got irritated. Why are you keeping quiet when I'm telling you to ask him? He said, Your Honor, I'm not able to tell him something which he doesn't even ever know. In their society, they know nothing called stealing. They only know as sharing. So when he found something similar to it, he felt as such it is his share, which he can take it and kill it and share it with others. Because he doesn't know something called stealing. Having said that, so taking inspiration from the small story, so the judge then eventually understood and released him. The story goes like this. And the theme of the story is what? This is exactly we are. When we come into this universe, or when we come into Swami, we are in our own self. We don't know much about Swami. We don't know much about what Swami stands for. We come to him to fulfill some of our pressures, pulls, stress, desires, aspirations, etc. But down the line, when we realize how we are moved from what we are looking for to what he is actually come to give it to us. It is a natural integration which goes through. Now, when you say human to divine, I'm reminded of one beautiful saying, how Swami summarizes. Our life every day, we are into various kind of activities. Swami says, get up, fresh up, dress up, make up, plan up, do up, and finally, shut up. So the crux of these ups are basically every level you are moving physically and mentally to accumulate or understand or accomplish a task. When the task is completed, the only way to enjoy, the only way to understand the utility and the benefit of the task is to go into silence. Detach yourself from the task, you will see where exactly the task has taken you to. Most of the time, we are not able to do this. Let me just give you one more example. Everybody knows in a year, in a day, there are 24 hours. In 24 hours, typically we sleep 8 hours. Another 8 to 10 hours, what we do our household works, this, that, etc. So 18 to 20 hours is gone. Basically 16 to 18 hours is gone. Remaining 5 to 6 hours, we either spend to keep ourselves happy in the way which makes us happy. Now, this is the time Swami says use a certain portion of it to go into within you. Go into within you is silence. Go into silence. Just switch off. Switch off from everything for 2 minutes or 10 minutes if you can. Very difficult, but do it. And you will find it, suddenly your inner self will have a different persona coming out of you, slowly flourishing about you, which includes, if you go into Mahabharata, at every stage, even though Duryodhana was on the wrong side, Duryodhana was offered the first chance when Krishna opened his eyes and looked at him. What do you want? You want me or my army? Duryodhana made a wrong choice because his wisdom worked in a wrong way. Always, also in the battlefield, when Karna was aiming the bow to Arjuna, Salya, his charioteer, told him, don't aim his head, aim his chest. But Karna ignored him. So this is what Swami says. You always get a hint within you. That hint becomes clear and concise when you go into that silence. I'm also correlating this with one more thing I've heard from the very famous successful gentleman, metroman, E. Sridharan. E. Sridharan says, every day I do my meditation at 4:30 to 5:30. But when I do my meditation, I get all the thoughts. I remember those things which I actually wanted next day morning to perform. I keep a small slip on my side and keep noting it down. I don't feel my meditation is disturbed. I feel my meditation makes me sharpened towards what I'm supposed to achieve in my material life also, in addition to making me completely light and clean. Now come back to a specific incident. All of us know when Swami says, living through Sai Way, we all know Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the missile man of India, the one who spent most of his life in creating missiles for the destruction of humanity, the one who did the Pokhran test, which even the US satellites could not detect. What happened to him? He became a devotee of Swami. Before becoming a devotee of Swami, he was a principal advisor to the government. And he had a difference with the government at that point of time, and he was relieved from his position of principal advisor. He approached Swami, seeking him, Swami, can I become a principal of your college so that I make a rocket through your children? Swami at the time told him, no, I will call you at the right time. You have more thing to do. Nobody imagined at the time this person is going to become president of India. He became a president, incidentally, a bachelor, a vegetarian. Needless to say, by culture, he follows the Muslim culture, but a strict vegetarian, plays Veena for us to distress himself. Some very, very unique, peculiar charisma and persona. So he became a president. On the very first day when he entered the presidential palace, in the old ages when Britishers were when Britishers were the governor general or whatever it is, there used to be an orderly who used to first come and release the lace of the shoe. When the president or the president-elect enters, there is a job which is the constitution has defined. So when President Kalam entered the presidential house, this gentleman came, removed the lace. Dr. Kalam got angry. Dr. Kalam threw him out. He said, shake him out. I don't want anything more here. He should not be here. So everybody said, on the very first day, this man is removing him from a position. What is going to happen? Anyway, that person was later put into some other job of gardening or whatever it is. Then President Kalam maintained in such a way, when he finished his term, when he was actually exiting the presidential palace, he called the same fellow back. He told him, you are now doing a gardening job because of me. See, listen, I have lost my job now. I'm no longer a president. But you will continue to be a gardener. Do me a favor. Please sprinkle some water on my suitcase. The person was shocked. What are you trying to do? Why are you telling to sprinkle the water on the suitcase? He said, please do what I'm requesting you. He did it. Then it was mopped. And then President Kalam took the suitcase, walked away. When he walked away, he mentioned, even I don't want a dust of this place to come with me when I go back as a common man. I entered as a president, but I'm exiting as a common man. So even a dust, even a single leaf of this place should not follow me. Detached. And the same person, I had the wonderful privilege of being in Puttaparthi when he came to when he came to Puttaparthi after having become a president on the 4th month. There are two important things which he said to Swami. One, he brought with him 3 months of his pay as a president, salary as a president. And he gave to Swami and said, Swami, I don't have mother, father. At my childhood itself, I lost my mother and father. I am handing it over to you. Swami, please give this as a gratitude of a son to his mother. And before doing that, the person came and sat on the floor. As a president, the protocol does not allow him to sit on the floor. So everybody came and sort of pushed him. No, you're a president of the country. You can't sit on the floor. So literally Swami has to shake him to come and sit on the chair. So he gave it to Swami. Use this for any holy purpose which you do. And second thing, during that, I don't remember exactly the 80th birthday or so, during that time, he made a 2-liner poem. When he spoke, he said, entire galaxies looked at Earth and said, listen, we have stars, we have sun, we have moon, we have clouds, we have rainbow. What you have? Earth turned back and said, yes, you have everything, but we have Satya Sai Baba. So that is the kind of a poem which comes in the heart of a gentleman who happened to be the president. Now, this is here the human to divine transition is exhibited for us to take leave. How it is exhibited? Nobody told Dr. Abdul Kalam to behave the way he wanted to behave. Neither he was that ardent a follower of Swami when he actually compared with whatever, when he actually detached himself from whatever the perquisites of the presidential life which is brought to in his life. But somewhere, somehow, the way he positioned himself made even Swami to melt him to take him back and bring him to Puttaparthi and sit along with him right next to him. The person whom he refused at one point of time was seated right next to Swami. In true worth to the word of Swami said, I will call you at the right time. So the transition of divine to human, here it's not in terms of any kind of a tapash, any kind of a, what do you call it as, charity. Those are all part and parcel of the journey. But not one charity, not one bhajan, not one stotra, not one abhishek, purely define your transition from a human to a divine. I am now also reminded of a beautiful incident which happened in Puttaparthi itself. Everybody knows Swami likes children very much, you know. One day, Swami got a letter. A gentleman called Rama Prasad from Bombay wrote a letter. In that letter, he wrote to Swami, Swami, I have to come and see you. I have a lot of problems. I have to come and see you. Swami said, okay, Aja. He came. He went up. Swami was conversing with students. So When he was conversing with students, he turned back and asked Ram Prasad, sab theek hai? No, Swami, thoda baat karna aapse. Baba ignored him, kept on talking and talking and talking. After some time, Swami looked at him and said, Ram Prasad, sab theek hai? Ram Prasad, no, Swami, thoda baat karna aapse. 2 minutes chahiye, Swami. Swami ignored and again talking to the children. Third time, Swami turned back after half an hour and asked him, Ram Prasad, sab theek hai? Ram Prasad, Swami, theek hai. Whatever I heard from these people's problem, my problem is nothing. You are a savior to me. Already you put me into a pedestal where I am given a strength and ability and wisdom to understand what my problem is and arrive at a solution and accept that as a solution, but lacked the willpower to implement. And with your conversation, I heard all about that clarity to go and implement. This is precisely the stage we go through while we are actually moving from human to divine. Let me again underline, human to divine is not anything like a subdued life, live under the hut, without electricity, without a fan, without the water, etc. No. Live in peace within you, in the environment you are living, is what's Swami's way of making human to divine. We met a student in one of our Agan Bhajan today. The student's life is also not that easy. In their house, they are pampered. When they come there, they are supposed to stay in a single hall, 5 of them, 10 of them to be together. And each of them will have a duty to clean the room every day and go and do the household, maintenance chores on their own, accept the food which is being given in the hostel, which they like it or not like it. So, in a way, a cat is made to taste the milk. Even though milk is the favorite food of the cat, even the cat needs to be introduced to taste the milk. And that is the process that everybody undergoes. Everyone goes through. In my own life, there was a time when I went to Swami. I used to pray, Swami, I need this, I need that, I need this kind of a thing. I have this job, I have to move to this level, I have to do that. Later, at about 3 years later, I started praying stopped praying for all these things. Without my own knowledge, I was praying, Swami, let me find the you in me. Give me the clarity to find the you in me. You are in me, it is fact. You are ever in me is the truth. You are going to be the only one within me is the dharma, spiritual dharma. Can you please give that clarity within? Can you please guide me to go from the darkness in which I am living, Venkatesh, as an illusion, to Venkatesh is nothing but the Swami living within? That kind of a transition, can you move on? Can you help me, facilitate me, handhold me? It's not something which can happen overnight, or it may happen overnight. There is both the possibilities in this kind of a journey. Right? You would have met many people in life. I met a person very recently who's an acute smoker for 35 years. A Swami's devotee, acute smoker. I mean, he has to repeatedly keep smoking, but for the time where he sits for the darshan. Swami once came to him, told him, hey, chodoge? Nahi chodoge? Swami, मैं छोड़ देता हूं, मगर 3-4 दिन के बाद दोबारा मेरे को आदत आया था, Swami. Swami told him, okay, every time when you get the urge, punch your hand to the wall, straight. Punch it once, punch it twice. So when you feel that happening, your urge will come down automatically, little by little by little, and one fine morning you'll find it better. But luckily, the person don't have to punch for years. Within a week, he could get that clarity within him that he could give up that particular habit. Now let me also come to one more, how Swami, in a humorous way, in a very, very humorous way, make you understand life is not that difficult. Life is not that complicated if you want to look at that way. Once a VIP came, Swami introduced students. They are all my MSM students. So the VIP thought, oh, MSM is a different course. Maybe it is a postgraduate course. He said, is it Swami? Is it very good? March, September, March. They will write the paper in March, fail in March, again write in September, fail in September, again go to March. So they are MSM students. They are very, very intelligent. They are very precious. So students were very embarrassed. Next day they asked me, Swami, you embarrassed us so much, Swami. We study our level best. We are not able to pass through, Swami. Maybe one or two papers, hum jitna marks lena ho le nahi pa rahe. Swami, tell them, don't worry. You have put your burden onto me. I am managing your burden. You just keep doing whatever you can do on your paper. How much ever you can do, keep doing it. Nothing to worry. I am always there for you to guide and guard, as I always say. Here comes the journey of human to divine. How the human to divine starts? When we enter into Swami, or when Swami enters into us to bring us to his values, not the persona of the red robe or the hair or the beautiful persona or the loving smile or the manifestation, but Swami as the clarity and confidence and comfort enter into us. What happens? First, the first transition is hands that serve are holier than the lips that pray. Our prayer translates into service. Once the prayer translates into service, what is the next step? Love all, serve all. The moment your service level comes up, goes up and up, you start loving one and all. Then comes help our hurt never. Find when you are serving people, when you are helping people, few will turn out to be a drunkard, few will turn out to be a negative force. Help our hurt never. In fact, I have many times told in my own arguments or anything, we are actually knowing Swami's teaching our help our hurt never, but you always say hurt our help never. This is the kind of situation you get into sometimes. And finally, when all these teachings still leave a lack of clarity in you, that's when comes why fear when I am here. When I'm making this transition, when I'm going into a block point, when I go into a dot point, that's when the teaching of Swami comes. If still you are unclear, why fear when I'm here? Just surrender. The rest I will take care. Now, I can explain you in a very simple example. A 5-year-old child, you take the child and throw up playing, the child will never fear. The child will laugh, enjoy, because it has the inherent confidence somebody is going to grab me and grip me. But if you pick Venkatesh and throw up, Venkatesh will the first thing, where am I going to fall? Which is going to hit me? Where I'm going to get my leg sprained? So the moment your wisdom moves up, your insecurity also moves up. The moment your wisdom is matched with the maturity of spirituality, your wisdom becomes your strength. Your wisdom becomes your biggest, what do you call it as, a biggest spiritual support, which you can bank on at any point of time. Now let's come to Ramayana. Hanuman, when he was to go to hunt for Sita Mata in Lanka, he never believed in his capabilities. He never thought he can fly that fast. He can fly that long. Who told him his capability? Jambavan. Jambavan came to him and said, Hanuman, you are not what you think you are. You are very different. You are very, very different. Try this, do this. Result is, Hanuman believed in what he said. Hanuman went, had a darshan of Sita Mata, spoke to her, came back and told Rama, not the whole journey of his, how he flew, what speed he flew, with what weight he hit that Rakshasi or whatever it is. He simply said, Mata ko deka. In one line, he summed up his whole tapasya of trying to go and see Mata and come back and report to Lord Rama that Mata is okay. So this is what eventually comes into when we come into when we come into the stage of why fear when I'm here kind of a situation. Gratitude overflows within us to contribute, put everything at Swami's feet. Bhagwan, aaj mere ko ye hua because of you as a clarity within me, because of you as a grace within me, because of you as a strength within me, because of you as the most important needed wisdom at that point of time for me. So Swami, keep guiding me, keep guiding me. Swami always says, speak to me, keep on speaking to me within you. Sometime back I mentioned in this talk, when one Swami asked, hey, kya doge tu mujhe? Swami, jaan de dunga, idiot. What will I do with your dead body? I will have to first either cremate it or bury it before it becomes an environmental hazard. Staying here within your 6 senses, consciously, what can you do for me? That's what matters, end of the day. And Swami also beautifully says, when you are young, you go around for your playful things. When you get married, you go for your social life. When you become bigger, you go for your children's education, etc. When you reach the age of 60, coughing, shivering, you come and tell me, Swami, Seva karne ka mauka do. What can I do? Give you mauka? What kind of opportunity I can give? Therefore, people like us are so fortunate. The so-called body youthness has already been inspired or impacted by Bhagwan, so that even if you do that one single effort of genuine help, that becomes an umbrella to cover you all along, to sail you into his love. Therefore, you move that one effort to two, the two effort to 10, the 10 effort to not to count at all. Keep moving on. The journey goes on. The complete journey goes on. Like everybody says, you may be traveling in a Maruti, or you may be traveling in a Audi, or you may be traveling in a Mercedes. But that's not for you to think. That's for the people who are standing outside. Hey, Mercedes ja raha hai. Hey, Maruti ja raha hai. Hey, Audi ja raha hai. But the person who is sitting inside, it is a motion vehicle carrying him. Yes, maybe with a little comfort, little bit of AC, little bit of cushion. But once that adat get used to that facility, that becomes nothing before you. But divinity is not like that. The more you take it, the more it refreshes you. The more you understand it, however little it is, the more it keeps on guiding you. Like it starts like a candle, but becomes a big, big, big jyoti. And the jyoti, when it starts igniting within you, biggest of the biggest problems will come to you. Suddenly you will find cool and calm. Fine, it has come. We'll see it. We'll see it. There can be only two ends. Fatal one, better one, or the best one. There could be a three. All the three are mentally prepared. So you have won the battle. That is the semblance which Swami brings into you when you try to live through Swami's way. What is this Swami's way? What is that living through Sai way? It is not, once again, it is not a typical saintist way. It is a way where you calibrate your self into Sai Self. How that yourself to Sai Self happens? By getting attached to the Sai scriptures, Sai bhajans, Sai sayings, this kind of a community, communion like this, where you exchange one versus the other. Sometime back, I met a gentleman in Puttaparthi. He was a R&D director of Procter & Gamble. He stays right next to the Heathrow airport. So he says, whenever I feel like, I come and land here. I said, why of all the places in the world you come here? He said, that's a good question, because every magnet drafts its own iron. Likewise, I am drawn to Baba. But most importantly, when I come here, I don't believe in miracles. I believe in transformation happens within me to handle my own self much better. This is what brings me again and again here, right? I mean, one day I may go to Suprapadam, another 4 days I will not even wake up at 5:30. I may wake up at 8:30, but I don't get a guilty conscience. That one day of Suprapadam attendance in the morning gives me that kind of clarity. Even when I'm sleeping till 8:30, subconsciously in my mind, I feel I'm sitting in Suprapadam. I keep chanting. Swami says, beautifully, Professor Anil Kumar says, thinking about Sai is darshan. Talking about Sai is bhajan. Taking part in any service activity is surrender. He says, you do these three good enough. You need nothing else. You will be transformed. You will be. See, when we actually catch a flight from X destination to Y destination, we are mentally damn sure I am going to get down at Hyderabad at so-and-so time. Not for a moment I want to think my flight is going to crash. My flight may not even take off. My flight will have an aerial disturbance that weather is bad, the flight cannot move out. I don't want to think anything negative. At the time, I'm only clear that 10 o'clock is my flight, 12 o'clock is my Hyderabad, and 12:30 I'm going to have lunch with so-and-so. That kind of a confidence on a material thing is so easy for us. On a spiritual thing, once you start believing in it, once you don't have to believe in it, you be near it, it will make you believe. You keep a cotton before a fire, the fire will catch the cotton will not go near the fire. The fire will come near the cotton. That is the vulnerability positive vulnerability of spirituality. And that spirituality in Sai sense is very, very simple. Very, very simple. Think about me, talk about me, live within me, live as me, keep interacting with me, keep talking to me, keep writing to me if you want to write letters. In every form, in every way, in every means, in every mode, you want to reach me, I am available to you at your convenience. This is what our Swami is all about. So that's what I, out of my own small wisdom, bestowed by Swami with all your blessings, can think of a way of life from human to divine in a Sai way. Now, we can have many experiences and we can have many references, but end of the day, this one specific thing that Swami is nothing but me is the only feel that will always drive you aggressively, positively. Others may tell, sometimes, yeah, pagal ho chuka hai. He has become a mad. He's blindly going behind something. He doesn't understand what is it up to me, what is changes it to me. So keep that confidence growing and growing within you. That confidence become a light. That light becomes a strength. That strength becomes a character. That character becomes a overall persona. And the overall persona is nothing but Sai persona. Om Sai Raman.